shows what's happening. There we go. Okay. So when you clean your wheel, right, you want to be sure that you get the angle of this tool right. It's angle down, right? Start at the middle, and then the butt of it needs to go away from you. Otherwise, you just distribute it all back onto your wheel, right? So kicking it away. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. All right. Okay, so hunk of clay, and if you bang the hard edge away from you, which I think maybe was giving you a little bit of trouble, you're kind of going this way. If you bang that hard edge away from you, it gets convex quickly. All right, nice convex?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was trying to, you weren't in the frame, I was trying to tell you.
Oh, okay, well, I want to show the clay more than me. Okay, all right. So, putting that in the middle, right, Mark, follow along. Okay, put that in the middle. Give it a smack. Now I'm going to go very slowly, patting onto center. Hands like a roof, right? This anchors it and gets it closer to centered. Boom. All right. Now I'm going to gas it up to 55 miles an hour. And from here, I'm going to ask you guys to tell me what to do. All right? Anchor the left, yep. Agua, water, right? So I'm not letting this move, right? And by doing that, keeps it from going out, so then the clay comes up. So my right hand, and I keep a sponge in my right hand because that way I can water the clay without having to go back to my bucket, right? And then I'm centered. How do I know it? Right, my hands are not moving. Right? Not centered. Centered. All right. Now, left hand stays put, right hand in an L to my wrist. I can literally close my eyes and it will find center. If I close my eyes, just put a little bit of pressure, I can feel when it's still and know that that's the center, and then sink. All right? Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I was like waiting for the clay to make itself, I guess.
Yeah, no, I like to do it quick because otherwise it can wander around, you know? Check my depth. 3/4 of an inch. Boom. All right, now what's next? Cheat pull.
Oh, yeah.
It's the cheap 2-bit pull. Yeah, the cheater pull. And we call it a cheater pull because it's not really a pull. It's kind of a centering move too, but I like to with this left hand, kick that thumb out so that I'm lifting with this part of my hand, right? So instead of being here, kick that thumb out. This hand is in the same centering position. Now I'm squeezing and rising up. Get to the top. What do I do?
Let go.
Breathe and let go. Right? When people hold their breath, then it goes all cattywampus. So that's the humble beginnings. Now everything shifts to the right because here the clay is coming in, here the clay is leaving. Here I've got some finesse. If I hold on like this to this side, it's going to buckle my fingers. All right. Left hand over right. Outside hand starts on the wheel head. Inside hand starts in the center. They're joined so that they work together. I'm bending my fingers slightly, and it takes more pressure at the bottom because the clay is stuck to the wheel head and because it's got gravity working against it. Breathe, release. Now I'm going to anchor that rim every once in a while too, just to make sure that things aren't going wonky. How am I doing so far?
Good.
Oh, thanks, I appreciate that. All right, gonna do it again, left over right, outside hand on the wheel head, inside hand inside. Now when you're throwing a bowl, you're throwing the interior, you're not throwing the exterior, right? We're gonna trim that exterior. Not to say that you shouldn't pay some attention to it, but you really wanna pay attention to that interior. And we want a nice continuous curve, a nice U-shaped continuous curve, not a V, not a W, not an M, right? So you can see, can you guys take a look in here? You can see right here I've got Right here, the curve is nice, but right here, I've got that little beginner's hump, right? So it's just not part of the constant curve. So I'm just gonna go in with my red rib, and I'm just gonna rib that down. It's just a very natural thing that happens, but we wanna take care of it. There we go, that's better. Do you see the difference? When that's a nice continuous curve? Yep. All right. Now, when you think about how you want your bowls to look, right? So this right now, I would call it a very standard utilitarian bowl, right? Maybe I want it to be a little bit more decorative, or maybe I want it to be a little bit more fancy, right? So maybe I make this rim thin. So I'm just gonna squeeze it between my finger and the rib. Gonna really thin that, right? Now all of a sudden it's delicate. Now all of a sudden this is gonna chip if I throw it in the cupboard every day, right? But it's also kind of pretty. So I'm gonna,
What's that green thing that you keep putting on
oh, that's a chamois. Just a little chamois cloth. Right? A little swirly in there, right? And now it's a pretty decorative bowl.
Oh.
So you can just mess with them a little bit. This gets a lot of people. This is difficult for a lot of folks. Are you able to see the tool in the video?
Yes. I would put it more this way a little bit. Yeah, like over there.
Should I
on
move
side.
the orange bucket?
No, it's not in
No,
the
you
way.
can't see.
Okay. So I'm holding this really tightly like a pencil because it's going to be a lot of resistance. Starting above where I need it to cut, going very slowly, straight down, so until I get to the wheel head. Now I'm at the wheel head, so I lift the tool out. I'm gonna squeegee it, keeping this low, right? If I keep this up, it'll push the clay right back to my piece. So I'm keeping this as low as I can. Okay, just to remove that. And I should be able to cut it and just peel it right away. Oops. Of course it gets stuck when I'm doing a video, you know. There we go. Like that. Messy hands. Clean those babies off. Boop, boop, boop. Keep this tight, 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 so that it doesn't rise up in the middle. Spock hands or back hands, whichever works for you. I'm gonna go Spock. Bloop. Ta-da. All right, did that help? Got it back. Center. All right, go get them.